What's up, chat? How are we doing today? Did you see BB Dubai, the best Dubais of the world? If you're talking about the FGO sexo character in her new going to Saudi Arabian location so she can get fucked by a lot of guys artwork. I'd just like to say that I like her normal costume better. Also, it bugs me when the anime head composition has an extra, I don't know, like 8 or 9 inches of skull here. If you look at the head of BB Dubai-chan's head right here, if you actually do the skull cross section, it's like, okay. Here, look at this, chat. Look at the head. Here we go. Here's the eyes. Here's the face. This is fine until now. Here's the hair. Now, how far does the fucking skull go? Look at it. It's like one head, one face, 2.5 face. So this is actually not enough. It's like this. 1, 2, 2.5. It's like this shit, bro. We just don't notice it because we've been so trained in looking at anime that we don't actually fucking notice how fucked up the skull is. And then you say, bro, no, it's just the hair, right? Her hairline is probably here. She probably has a normal skull and this is all just, you know, it's like an afro. No, because the hair is being tied in the back of her head. So that can't happen with that hairstyle. So this is actually the shape of her skull in this artwork. She has literal fucking Megamind head right here. For all we know, she should just be like looking at the camera and asking us where the pubic hairs are. And I'm not even going to go into the size of the boobs and stuff like that because, you know, at least that's not like her skeletal system. Also, actually, her waist is her rib cage and her body is too short, which is making her arms too long. If you look at her arms, if she straight up stretches them out, they'd go all the way down, almost to her knees. Although I will say that arm length is something that can vary between people, which is why when you talk about like the NBA players, they're like, oh, he has a wingspan of 8 feet. So actually the arm length isn't as big a problem, but nobody has a fucking skull like this unless they're like some kind of, something went horribly wrong in the era of evolution. Look at this shit. She has a whole nother fucking head up here. Just wanted to point that out. Wada draws very busty girls. He always wants to make them super cute. He's lost in the sauce of the anime style. Bayonetta anatomy. So anyone who's like, Bayonetta is too lanky, humans aren't actually that tall and that thin, obviously does not watch the fucking NBA. Here's a, you know, actual unedited photo of the future best basketball player. Unless he suffers some sort of fucking horrible injury, which seems highly likely. Chris Paul is like 5'11", by the way. Base clamp proportions. Actual real life clamp body right here. Unless, brother, it's always when. He already had blood clots last year. I wouldn't have freaked out if I didn't read the article saying that blood clots are more likely to happen in tall people. And everybody's always talking about how, like, you know, if he gets injured, but I also am more in the camp of like when he gets injured, so I'm tired of getting excited for players with like freakish body proportions under the assumption that they're not going to have like some sort of career-ending injury, especially in the NBA for like super tall people and stuff, because it happens so frequently, and I'm tired of getting disappointed. It kind of sucks, honestly. I mean, Chris Bosh, his career ended, and he was also a lanklet, so... And they literally won't let players play if they have, you know, not heart issues, blood clots. So, the assumption that everything will just be fine just seems like being awfully optimistic. Oh, what the fuck was I talking about that led me to Victor Wembanyama? I can't even remember. Oh, that's right. For some reason, somebody started the stream by talking about BB in Dubai, and then I looked at the image and I was freaked out by her body proportions. I will say I have jacked off to BB-chan many times. She has a strong correction needed energy, so... What's good, big dog? Everything's fine. I think, At least for me. I'm weak. I love BB Dubai. Her normal costume is better because it's a high-cut leotard. It's kind of hard to outdo her already default, her summer costume, and then her like default white leotard costume, because those are already so good. Theom Brobine did a Nami and Robin animation. I don't even know who that is. Theom Brobine. Nami. Porn comics free online. I think I've been drawing too much because the length of Nami's torso is too long and it's bothering me. I might be too deep into anatomy hole when my first reaction to any kind of porn is just like, let me check if all the proportions are correct. But that's where we are in 2025. Honestly, I'm pretty interested in what things bother like non-professional artists at this point. I always check the comments section when I'm reading stuff like Online Jump manga, and they have a comments section. And if it's like a slightly different art style than what would be considered conventional, I always check the comments section to see if people are bothered by the art style and if it's turning people off. Because, like, you have to have some sort of uniqueness to your anatomy and your art style and shit like that. But if you overdo it, you start turning people off. So I'm always wondering what, like, what's the maximum in which you can, like, distort things and have, like, anatomical and artistic, stylistic choices in which people won't get turned off, you know? It's a classic question for artists who want to appeal to a broad customer base. Hey, Drawfig Sup. I hope that FG does not stand for the standard terminology we use on 4chan, because that is a slur that is not allowed on Twitch. And I would be very offended if I saw it. Sometimes when I'm speaking in chat, I have to stop myself and not say the specific F word because it's used so commonly in 4chan. Like, I don't even know how to call artists without using the F word, honestly. I guess you're supposed to say, like, draw friend or something. I have enough self-control not to say the N-word a million times, no matter how often I'm on 4chan. But all the other 4chan terminology, I always have to be like, make sure my brakes are properly turned on, so I don't say any words. Any of the no-no words. It doesn't help that I browse the video game board of 4chan, which at this point, there are entire threads in which just people call each other various racial slurs from beginning to end. Why am I redrawing all of these individual lines? It's probably because I don't really know what I want to do right now with this image. I make so little progress on any drawings on stream, I've noticed. I actually drew this picture entirely on stream, and then after I got off stream, I was like, no, this isn't gonna be good enough. I drew this shit on stream, and I started trying to fix it, and I was like, wait, the anatomy is too fucked up at this point. Perspective is, this is after trying to fix it several times. It's like, I have to just redraw this, and I just redrew this in like 5 minutes, and I was like, why am I even trying to draw shit on stream? I'm so unfocused, I'm just gonna have to redraw everything anyways. But I can do stuff like coloring in the lines and shit, so as long as my line work is already done, I guess it's not that big a deal. I should just have like a bunch of pictures ready already, so I won't be wasting time on stream and trying to do a picture from the beginning. You can call yourself an artist or mangaka, but we all know what you are with a hard got. Game of Thrones, baby, our favorite TV series. You record yourself drawing and just paste it on top of your stream at 1/4 speed. Profit. I think that's actually a good idea. However, I'm not capable of understanding how to use technology, so I can't even do that. Anyways, if I want to become mangaka, at some point I'll probably have to draw while also talking to other people as well, because you need to have assistants. So like, I might have like periods in which I'm just like, okay, don't talk to me, I'm gonna focus now. But in general, you have to communicate with people to some degree. In general, being introverted in human society is mainly a debuff. It has some buffs to it, but it's almost entirely a debuff if you ask me. There are very, very few things in which being introverted helps you out. Or at least things that are immediately noticeable. There might be stuff like, you know, when everybody gets shut down with COVID, it doesn't really bother you as much. But in general, if your job recruiter is like, are you good at working with teams? And you're like, no, I can't do anything if there's other human beings around me. And they're like, we don't want to hire you. So you have to be like, yeah, I'm definitely a team player. I don't mind trying to work in this fucking awful open office environment at all. I love it just like everybody else. I sure love it when Ted comes by and tries to have a fucking conversation with me. That's so much fun. I've been studying on workflows for creating artwork. What do you usually start with when drawing faces, bust-ups, and full bodies, just collecting techniques? So there's a lot of different approaches to this. And I've been watching a lot of YouTube videos on different camps. So one idea is, if you're going for like acting, as in you want to be like super expressive with your character, all you do is like, you draw the face and head, and then you like position the hands. Oh my god! So you draw these first, and then you worry about connecting the hands to the body like this, right? This makes it easier because the face, obviously, and then the hands are basically where like 90% of human emotion is expressed. So by nailing those in your composition first, like you can figure out the rest later. That's one approach to it. For gesture drawing, the other thing that I've been told is it's if you are 100% know that you have to draw a full body, it can be hard if you start at the head, because then you're like, oh, how many heads tall is this person? Oh, I fucked up the head size. So instead of that, you start with like the torso, and then you do the rib cage. And this is when you're more worried about like the volume of the body and making sure it fits properly in the composition and stuff. But this is going to be like the center, and it also dictates like weight and movement as well, especially the hips. So when you have like the whole body torso nailed down, and then the head kind of just like rests on top of the combination. Also for perspective, it's probably easier if you focus on the rib cage and the hips, because you can do like the whole box method thing and be like, okay, this is the angle of the hips, this is the angle of the rib cage, and that makes it easier to like draw the character in space. So these are the two different approaches I've seen so far. If you actually care about drawing properly. I'm sure if you go to like a shoujo mangaka, they would just be like, I just draw the fucking eyes, and then I draw the rest of the shit. All I care about is the eyes. Personally, if I was a mangaka on the deadline, I'd make sure I draw all the faces of all the characters first. So that way, if I'm running out of time, and like I don't have time to draw like the rest of the body and stuff properly, all the faces will at least be properly drawn in, and then I will, you know, that's better than like having a blank face. Because in manga, the way it works is like you read the bubbles, the text in the bubbles, and then you look at the character's face, and then you read the next text bubble. That's kind of the general pattern and how you read shit in manga. And you only kind of barely look at the rest of the panel, just like in a cursory glance. You probably spend less than like half a second looking at parts other than the face and the text. It's just kind of, it goes through your peripheral vision. At least this is how like I think the average reader does. Obviously there's like the manga consumers that are like checking every part of every panel to see if they can find Panda Man or whatever. Notice you're using Clip Studio. I'll probably get the perpetual license and actually start learning how to draw. So Clip Studio, it always has like free trials going on, and even if you get the perpetual license, if you're not buying the professional one that I use, it's still very cheap. I think the perpetual license for the cheaper version is like under $100. It's like $80 or so, something like that. So you can kind of buy it without having to worry about, you know, not using it and stuff. It's not like fucking Photoshop, which costs like, what, $200 a month or some bullshit, like subscription price. You can get Clip Studio in subscription, but I would think the permanent license is really cheap, so... And you don't need to buy the more expensive version. The cheaper version literally has everything you need, unless you want to start fucking around with like publishing options and stuff, which none of you should probably have to worry about. I only bought the more expensive version like a month ago because I realized I had to like start worrying about like page formatting and shit. But if you're just drawing for getting better in your hobby stage, you definitely don't need the more expensive version. Don't buy it. It has all the same functionality, so... EX version is $250. Yeah, so don't get EX. I have EX right now. CSP Pro, I think is what it was called. They're not showing me the different CSP Pro versus EX. Okay, here's the official support. Yeah. So Clip Studio Paint Pro, they're making it maximum complicated. Pro is not for pro. Pro is for the amateurs. It's only $58. EX is at $258. The only thing extra shit you get for this is extra frames for animation, where this only gets 24 animation. And then you get this stuff, the story thing. And this allows you page manager layout and shit, and like page reordering. And you need it for exporting file formats in specific ways and shit. But it won't matter if you're not trying to publish. So it really isn't necessary. Buy the $58 one. How do you utilize the hatching method many Japanese artists use for denoting a change in planes, contrary to using a plain solid line? Like the one you use on Elf Boob's connection to the shoulder, collarbone, and rib cage? You mean like here and here? I mean, you just go like 1, 2, 3. That's one of those things where you have to like figure out what pens you want to use. I mean, you're just like combining multiple lines. Is that what you're talking about? I mean, hatching is just like going 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Shit like that. I guess the question is more like when do you want to use it instead of like when you don't want to use it. You usually pull out hatching in which you're trying to indicate like more of the like three-dimensional form change instead of like cutting an object off from the rest of space. So you wouldn't want hatching on like any of the outside lines, right? Would it be parallel or perpendicular to the way the plane goes? Also, yeah, when to use it. I guess it would be parallel. I mean, let's think about this. Let's say we have like the rib cage, right? This is a bad rib cage. This is a little too complicated. Let's think in terms of sphere. So, if there's like a shape like this, and you want to use hatching to add form to it, you're kind of like hugging the curves of the shape, so I guess it's in parallel to it. I mean, it can go either ways, right? Like, if I have like a female body like this, I can show the shape of the female body by, say, getting her to wear like a racing swimsuit, sexo, and the swimsuit will already have this kind of like vertical lines. I guess the proper term would be like contour lines. So this is a version where, I mean, I don't know whether this would be considered parallel, perpendicular or parallel to the form, right? But that like creates volume right here. And like then I would put like hatching around here, like this. I think what you sort of have to consider is like there's a flow to the movement of objects. In this case, it would be like a vertical flow. And if you put in like hatching and lines against the flow, they sort of stop your eye. So you would want to put them in locations where you want people's eyes to stop automatically. In this case, the male gaze has to stop around the crotch. So I would put like hatching like this here. I don't know. There's a lot of different styles on this. If you look at like Fist of North Star, they just like put this kind of like super hard hatching like this. Like literally fucking everywhere. There's just like an entire different schools on this shit because people have been doing different hatching methods for, you know, hundreds of years because that's what they were using before we had like digital tools and stuff, when you had to use printing presses and stuff. So that actually really varies between different approaches to art. There's no real like one answer to that shit. You're just gonna have to find artists that you think have good hatching methods that you think looks good, and then just copy them is probably the easiest way of figuring it out. How much upper body do I want to give her? Stop your eye, that's a good thing to note down. Yeah, like, there's just a lot of things that have like the effect of grabbing your eye. One of the obvious ones is if you have like a solid black object, if we're talking about black and white, next to like a white area, that causes you to focus on that. So you have to be careful in like where you use your solid blacks and stuff. That's why when people draw people's heads like this in manga, they almost always put in the hatching underneath the neck, right? Because having this black area right here automatically guides people to the face, because you have this high contrast area and then you have like a white area in the face. That's another one of the reasons why there's not many dark-skinned characters in anime. Because it used to be because it was a pain in the ass because you had to attach the gray skin tone automatic, which was like an extra like 20 minutes of work, so nobody wanted to do that shit. But it's also easier just to have like high contrast whites and blacks and stuff. This is why I'm gonna create a alien character called Mr. Bobo, and he's gonna have pitch black skin, and I will be accused of racism. Krita, it's not very helpful. Tools for picking channels and colors, doing text with transparency layer, the brushes. Is Krita free to use, or is it... I've never touched anything besides Photoshop and Clip Studio. Professional free and open source painting program. I've heard that it's, you know, more of an illustration tool. If you want to do manga style stuff, you should just buy Clip Studio Paint. There's free trials and the permanent license for the cheaper version, which is really all you need, which I already said is only like 58 bucks, so that's permanent. So you should just buy that. If you don't have 58 bucks, then you should go and like suck dick or something. One blowjob can earn you enough money to buy several Clip Studio Paint licenses, so... Not that you need an excuse to suck dick. You can always, you know, do that of your own volition, I guess. How do you know the prices of blowjob? What, are you saying that blowjob is so cheap that it only costs, like 50 bucks or something? Huh. No, I actually heard about that there was like some sort of app for like gay meetups and stuff. And I forgot what it was called. But I checked it out and it was just like, here are people in your location, and they were all showing images of their cock. Just like no face images. It was just like guys being like, here's my dick, sir. Perhaps you would like to sucky sucky? No? I was like, huh. I wonder if this is why we have monkeypox epidemics. And it wasn't Grindr. It was like a weird app that I had never heard of. The only reason I knew about it was because I was watching like this YouTube TV show that's super popular called Caleb Hammer, and like people with extremely questionable financial decisions show up, and one of the people was like, yeah, I'm on that. And they were like, dude, you're gonna get an STD. And he's like, no, it's fine. And I was like, let me check this out. And I was like, yeah, he's gonna get an STD. He will, in fact, get an STD by doing this. CSP also has pretty much everything. Yeah. I've been using CSP for quite a while now, and I've never had a situation in which I'm like, oh, I don't know what to do because the software doesn't have it. If it's not in the default package, someone's probably made it in the store at this point. And people are constantly making new shit, including stuff like, you know, copy-paste trees and shit. Alright, let's go ahead and get this nice and black. Start adding the blacks to this whole drawing. Just a reminder, chat, that nobody will ever say this to you. Especially not Big Booba Bondage Dark Elf. Also, you will never be a super attractive, handsome Giga Chad like the main character of Unicorn Overlord. No woman I know are in Fevrith, and none of them are elves. Is that Unicorn Overlord? Yes, this is a Unicorn Overlord character. You can choose to romance her on her own, but the more Chad option is she's like a, she's I guess like a follower of the Dark Elf Princess. So if you marry the Dark Elf Princess, you get her as a combo. Wombo combo. There's nothing as hot as like fucking the princess, and then the princess is also like, make sure you fuck my maid too. Don't make her feel left out. Just automatic harem. Armor is kind of weird though. I don't even know if I want to add these weird shapes it has. They're kind of like counter-effective to the accentuating the boob shape, if I think about it. They kind of look... I guess they're like slight indentations in the armor, but boob armor should really just be like sticking out. It shouldn't really have indentations. I might not even like put these in. See what I'm talking about here, chat? Like, there's these weird patterns in the boob armor. And I didn't think much of them in the beginning, but they seem really unnecessary now that I'm drawing them. They're not really improving the whole, they look like, you know, indentations. They look uncomfortable. I don't know if they're actually, like, going inward, but... I might just erase them. Visual flair. Yeah, I mean, it's extra details, but I don't think they're necessary extra details. I think I might just remove them. I'm not liking them. I think I'm just gonna get rid of them, honestly. I've been thinking of trying Unicorn Overlord Childhood Friend as canon. You can also fuck your cousin, which is also an important part of being an aristocrat. Keep it in the family, guys. The cousin who's like your sister and looks like your mother. No way it's not practiced. Fuck yeah. I already told myself I wasn't going to play more video games, but all this talk about playing Vanillaware games about fucking my cousin is making me want to break my vows already. It's not like I vowed to not play video games, it was just like there aren't many video games I want to play right now, I guess. What kind of hatching do I want to do right here? I can't really even figure it out. I don't know, I was watching a YouTube video log of a current professional Japanese manga artist, and she was answering questions about how many hours per day she draws. And she was like, right now I draw like 16 hours a day. And she wasn't even a weekly mangaka, she was like a monthly series, and I was like, fuck. These are the people I have to compete against. But then she started talking about how like she wasn't very serious about the whole thing until recently, until she got an editor, and the editor was really scary. So she is being forced to draw this much. That's the power of having an editor. But she was talking about how there were months in which she played her first Monster Hunter game. She picked up Monster Hunter World for the first time, and she played like 150 hours in a month and something like that. So obviously she wasn't drawing during that time period. And I was like, shit, she's just like me. And she's like, now I don't play video games at all. And I'm like, fuck. I guess that's what it means. If you want to obtain something, you have to be willing to let something go. And in this case, the thing I have to be willing to let go is probably video games, sadly. It's a good thing that video games suck right now, so I'm not really missing anything. Just play video games for research. Once your series starts going, and you like figure out how to draw it quickly, I know that there's lots of professional mangaka who takes lots of time to play video games because they can get away with it, but like it takes a while for you to figure it out how to go quickly. So until you start getting into the zone, you basically can't afford to do that shit. It's always a trade-off. We only have 24 hours a day. That's what it comes down to. It's one of the few things that you can't really buy with money. And we're talking about, like, I don't know, maybe like 20,000 hours before you can get to the point where you can basically draw what you want to draw without being like, fuck, this looks like shit, you know? If you're really talented and good, you can probably get to that point in like 7,000 hours, maybe. Yeah, it probably took me about at least 15,000 hours at this point. I had pretty long periods in which I wasn't actually drawing very many hours. So I'm not like one of these serious people who have been drawing non-stop their entire life, but... if you spend like those 7,000 hours playing Dota instead of, you know, drawing, that's all you really need to understand why you are where you are instead of the other way around. Just increase the intensity of your focus, but sacrifice lifespan instead. Yeah, I don't really want to fuck up my health either. Once I start aiming at specific magazines and publishing companies, which I will be doing in Japan. I'm gonna make sure that I'm going for the monthly ones instead of the weekly ones. I don't think there's any way to have a weekly series and not like fuck yourself up unless you're like Araki or something. Paint bucket tool, my beloved. I couldn't get the paint bucket tool to work for so long, so I was doing things by hand. I still have to do things by hand like this because I have like hatching and you have to color between the hatching lines. But make sure you have paint bucket tool settings to be refer to other layers, and then have close gap at maximum. Apply to connected pixels only, close gap, tolerance 10, area scaling 10, refer to multiple. Until I figured out that setting, it just wouldn't work for me. I was like, what is the problem here? Hey Cassius89, thanks for the Prime sub. I appreciate the support. Hope you're having a nice day. Will you keep us up to date on the submissions while there? Yeah. Don't worry, it'll take a while. I'm not gonna immediately start submitting shit. First, I'm gonna set up my lifestyle first. Make sure I can, you know, cook for myself and stuff. Then I'm gonna do a few commissions. God, this hand looks like shit. It's an extended stay. I'll probably be there at least a year. I don't really plan on moving back, honestly, to America. If I have to move back, I'll move back to America, but I'm cleaning up my shit based on the assumption I won't be returning to America. Like, I'm selling my car, etc. Will you stream from Japan? Yeah. Maybe a little. To maintain the same stream times, I'm gonna have to stream at like 4 in the morning, but I guess that's okay. Because I have like fucked up sleep schedules anyways, so. Because it's not that big a deal. Isn't Japan hostile to immigrants? Do they have green cards or stuff like that? I'm a Japanese citizen. Unlike you creepy weeb anime losers. I'm a full-blooded Yamato Damashi samurai. 3 viewers per stream. Not if all of you losers keep on checking in. Trust me, if I get 3 viewers per stream and there's no one in the chat, I will stop streaming. So, you guys, if you want to see me, you're gonna have to fucking check in. I will definitely stop streaming if you know, I'm not getting the same viewers. It's all up to you guys. I'm not going to be one of those Twitch people that are like talking to an empty chat room. That's fucking sad. Also, if I actually do get a series, then that means I won't be able to stream at that point. But that's far, far ahead from now, so you don't have to worry about that for quite a while. Start streaming to a JP audience. I don't know. That country is dying from lack of population. If you think that getting an audience on Twitch is hard for English speakers, I'm pretty sure it's way harder in Japanese. Can you draw these in 72 or 300 ppp? What the fuck are you talking about? Are you talking about publishing standards? Like DPI? What the fuck? Pixels per inch? Pixels per pixel? I don't even know what that is. Speak in English. This is a 3000 by 3000 page in pixels. Pixels per point? What the fuck? Look, all I know is the standard publishing shit that I have to have set up. All I know is what settings to put where. I don't know if it's not in this, you know, these columns. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. .72 DPI. I mean, why wouldn't it be able to? Like, are you talking about the Clip Studio Paint settings? Because, like, man, Clip Studio Paint can do whatever, right? It can just be like, I want to make a manga. I can change the resolution. Oh, maybe you can only do 350 and 600. If you're talking about DPI, you have to print at 600 DPI. That's the publishing standard for manga. It shouldn't be anything else. I've read a bunch of different tutorials on what settings you should be drawing in, and they always say 600 DPI. Look, this is a fucking professional grade drawing software. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about, but if you're asking whether it can do shit at whatever standards required for publishing manga and stuff, it can. That's all I have to say. Just the setting of your page, it says 72 DPI currently. Next is 3000 by 3000. Yeah, but DPI doesn't matter because I'm not publishing. This isn't for publishing. I don't even know where it says 72 DPI. Oh, up here? That means nothing. This is just an image that's going to be posted online. DPI only matters when you're publishing. And I'm definitely not publishing this, so... You get so scary when you raise your voice. I wouldn't have to raise my voice if I wasn't in this stupid fucking chat full of all these stupid people who ask me stupid questions, which I don't understand because I fucking suck at anything related to like actual computer settings and stuff, so I don't know. Stop yelling at the children. No, they have to become stronger. Millennials today weren't yelled at enough as children, which is why they're all a bunch of whiny little bitches. When I was young, our teacher would tell us that if we use any amount of marijuana, we'd become a crack whore. And I took 3 DARE classes, and they scared me straight. And it worked, because now I don't use any drugs. Millennials are geezers and hags now? No, I'm still young, guys. I was just double checking because I made the mistake before, especially at college, having to send some stuff for printing. I'm pretty sure printing has to be like really fucking high, like I just said. But if you're putting shit on, yeah, resolution doesn't matter if all you're doing is a fucking computer image. Oh, it goes all the way up to 1200 DPI. DPI is only relevant when it gets to the printing stage. So what you need to be worried about is how many fucking pixels you have in the first place. The DARE classes actually made drugs sound cooler. I was at Planet Fitness a few days ago, and some chick who was definitely too young to be in DARE had a DARE t-shirt, and I'm like, this bitch is probably a poser. She wishes she was cool like the millennials who we all got our fucking DARE classes. She's no DARE kid. Fucking posers, man. I remember besides like the standard DARE education shit, we also got a guy to come into our class to tell us stories about when he was using anabolic steroids. And then one day he got a massive nosebleed that wouldn't stop, and they had to drive him to the hospital. And on the way to the hospital, he filled like the entire Gatorade bottle full of his blood coming out of his nose. And he thought he was gonna die, but I guess he didn't. So now he comes to classrooms to tell kids not to use steroids. And I was like, that's a great story, bro. I'll make sure not to use anabolic steroids, thanks. He really inspired me. All the Euros don't know what we're talking about because they're not cool like us. Here. Is this a real fucking cartoon? I don't remember this shit. No sound. They never gave us a cartoon. It looks like it was made by the Rugrats people. Cartoon All-Stars to the Rescue. This is the most famous anti-drug cartoon of all time, but I don't think it was
anyone out there who still isn't clear about what doing drugs does? Okay, last time. This is your brain. This is drugs. This is your brain on drugs. Any questions?
Partnership for Drug-Free America, boys. I will say this, as stupid all of the 80s like anti-drug and basically everything during the Reagan administration was, they are right that using drugs is probably bad for your brain. I mean, it's kind of hard to be like, no, guys, it's just the stupid fucking square Republicans. They don't understand. The fentanyl is fine, guys. Nothing wrong with using this thing that might kill me if I get the dosage wrong. If not your brain, you'll probably shit out your liver. No. I'm just drinking alcohol, guys. That's an okay drug. That's one of our traditional American drugs. Just having 3 fingers of whiskey before I go to sleep every day. There's no way that will have any negative health effects on me. Just medicine. This is where I insert like a boomer joke about like, how can I not drink when I have a wife like this? Ha ha ha. I hate my wife. Ha ha. Can somebody take my wife, please? It seems like a joke, but they're not actually joking. None of them actually wanted to be with their spouses. That's why they had such high birth rates and like people getting married and stuff like that, is because they were getting married to people they didn't want to be with. You would just be like, yes, I would marry this person I hate, and we will be together the rest of our life. That's what it means to be a proper Catholic family. Being with someone you absolutely fucking hate forever. The young children will never understand. That was my grandparents, dude. Sad but true. Yeah. And now people just get divorced. Is this why boomer politicians are getting rid of abortion protections because they think no one would willingly fuck another person consensually? To be fair, they are not necessarily doing it themselves. Supreme Court is, you know, sort of shooing it in for them. Any state that has non-Republican voting people is doing the opposite, right? I honestly think that the abortion issue is probably one of the most logical of the Republican political points, because the other Republican political points are abortion and guns are the two logical ones. Like, you can actually have an argument in their favor. The other Republican talking points are, we need to stop taxing the rich, because if the rich have to pay taxes, they won't make all these jobs for us, and then we'll all be screwed because the rich are job creators. At least with like abortion, they're like, they can make the argument of you know, you're murdering a baby or whatever. And with guns, you can make the argument of, but what if my home gets invaded? How will I protect myself, or some shit like that? Doesn't the fucking part come before the abortion, so get married consensually? You're supposed to get married to... You're supposed to be a white male getting married to a white female with the purpose of having consensual sex for the purpose of procreation. You're not supposed to be a Hispanic male getting married to a Hispanic female, because that's white genocide, by the way. If white people aren't having children and brown people are having children, that's equivalent to genocide. We've covered this topic already. Consensual sex. We can't talk about goblin rape every single minute of every single day, okay? Sometimes we have to talk about slightly different subjects. Like consensual sex between human females. Be Mormon, marry 10 women. Have they actually like banned that? I heard that somewhere that it's actually illegal at this point, but people just keep on getting away, like getting around it. But on a purely technical level, you're not supposed to be allowed to do that, even in Utah, is what I've been told. Do we have any Mormons in chat that can update me on the situation? Not paying taxes, very nice, count me in. I'm sorry, that's not how it works. If you're anywhere between a poor person and, I don't know, like having several $1 million, then you have to pay taxes. You only don't have to pay taxes if you're a multi-billionaire. It's illegal, but they do it undercover. It's not registered. Honestly, of all the different things that, the bad shit that happens in society, Mormons having multiple wives is pretty low on the things I'm gonna have to worry about. I mean, all the Mormons are already getting fucked by allowing their lives to be dictated by their stupid church in the first place. I don't think we really need to worry about them getting any worse. Mormons are endlessly fascinating, to be honest, especially with the whole soda obsession. There were several YouTubers who went to Mormon country recently to check out the soda culture, and it's fucking bizarre. Like this shit is like completely foreign to Europeans, I'm sure. I investigated. Holy shit, there's a AI voiceover now. What the fuck? For some reason, a Mormon soda video I watched a month ago is now in Japanese. There's this weird AI voiceover on it now.
スウィッグとソーダ専門ドライブスルーが急増する中、このブームーはカフェインを求めるモルモン教徒にとって単なる甘いおやつなのでしょうか。
基本的にアルコール抜きのカクテルですよ。
それとも二高糖尿病、肥満、心臓病、肝臓障害でひむ静かなる殺人وتلف الكبد.
الموضوع مقلق جدا. بمزح مع صحباتي انه لو صحي ميت جنبي كلنا رح نعرف السبب.
نمو السبب.
كله بسبب استهلاك
It's the
المفرط
silliest
الصودا.
track that I could find.
أكثر رجل مدمن süchtigsten Mann in Utah treffen, war ich neugierig, wie viele Leute hier draußen ihren Tag bei einem der vielen Softdrink-Drive-Ins beginnen, angefangen mit Swig. Gerüchten zufolge soll da eine Schlange sein, einmal ums Gebäude rum. Herrgott, hier kriegst du einen 44 Unzen Softdrink. Während eine einzelne 12 Unzen Dose Softdrink 29 bis 42 Gramm Zucker enthält, empfiehlt die CDC nicht mehr als 50 Gramm pro Tag. Aber wie viel Softdrink trinken diese Leute? Ich kaufe euch eure Limo, wenn ihr mir sagt, was ihr bestellt.
You can basically tell what they're saying, even if you've only had like a year of German.
Big L.
What about Hindi?
Big L, Diet Coke, नारियल नींबू क्रैनबेरी है। मैं बस 44 ऑन्स माउंटेन ड्यू लेता हूँ ज्यादा बर्फ के साथ।
ओके, और वो काफी बड़ा है।
हाँ, सुबह में बड़ा ही लेते हैं, सीधे पी लो।
Now it sounds like we're on the tech support line.
हर रोज
एंडलेस समर बिना बर्फ के मैं ये ले रही हूँ शायद 8-9 साल से
9 साल लगातार हर रोज वाह ये तो बहुत है
और शायद 5 और ड्रिंक पे भी per tutti I miei figli.
Che misura prendi?
Oh, 44. Deve bastarmi per tutta la giornata.
Mi hai chiesto quante volte vengo?
Wow, suddenly it sounds so cultural if I put her into Italian.
Probabilmente ne bevo 80 once.
Accidenti?
Oh sì, una è un po'... Ah, guarda che bestioni enormi.
Molto belle.
Che
Where's the
misura
American?
44. Quella grande, mi serve per tutto il giorno.
There's literally no English audio track. Oh, here it is.
It's a loyalist right here. But besides the literal addiction to sugar, what made these soda addicts drink so much? Is it their Mormon faith? Before I head to other soda drive-through competitors in the area, I was curious how common it was to buy soda from the countless gas stations out here selling it.
Let's get the daily fix briefly. Start the morning off.
They're
with 2 big
Portuguese.
blues. What do you have? Is this your daily
There
starter?
is.
Acho que dá pra dizer sim.
Todo dia?
Compramos máquina de refil nova, os Stanleys de 40 onças não cabiam.
Quantas pessoas por dia
I
entram
take
aqui?
it back. AI is awesome. The Japanese
Queria cada
was
cinco.
pretty shitty. I'm gonna give it that.
5.
É assim.
Olha esses copos. Copos de isopor enormes aqui. $1,79 refil grátis.
179 refills, baby.
52 onças. Tentado a pegar o primeiro grátis? Não. Achei o maior. $17.99.
It works and it's Brazilian Portuguese. The Japanese is very sketchy. That is Brazilian Portuguese. That shit is actually intelligible. Do we have like Brazilian Portuguese speakers and Portugal Portuguese speakers in chat? And you can't like tell what each other are saying? Because that's pretty fucking funny.
My guy now. What's your name?
Try Swedish. There's no Swedish, unfortunately. I was looking for it, of course. Swedish always the funniest.
Due to like a stroke or like diabetes. Don't blame me, okay?
What about Polish?
Cukrzyca jest już w mojej rodzinie, więc ja jej na razie na szczęście nie mam, więc się tym nie martwię.
Holy shit, Polish sounds weird.
Prawda, pewne.
To prawda. Muszę zapytać, ilu ludzi tu napełnia takiego gulpa albo kubek 44 uncje?
Polish sounds like German and like Russian combined,
To
doesn't it?
szaleństwo. Stary. I ma te klauny, żeby przypominać nam, jak głupio postępujemy.
They're so fast. They speak so fast. Holy shit.
O, naprawdę? To jest jeszcze gorzej.
Wiem. Nie mnie oceniać, ale ja trzymam się z daleka od napojów gazowanych.
Piję Red Bulle każdego ranka.
Masz tutaj Red Bulle i
Let's try
wszystkie rodzaje
French.
Coca-Coli? O rany. Wow.
Tak, to jest prawie skęgielą.
C'est énorme. Ça ne va pas vous donner une crise cardiaque. Bon, je me sens coupable.
This is on
étant donné
normal
que cette
playback
vidéo
speed,
est un
by the
message
way.
d'intérêt public pour ne pas boire trop de soda. J'ai peut-être changé le cours de la vie de cet homme. Espérons que ce ne soit pas en mal. Il va très certainement mourir bien plus jeune qu'il ne l'aurait
Holy
dû.
shit,
On
they
a
have
le
to speak
Coca
so
Light, le
fast.
Sprite et bien sûr le Coca-Cola classique. Tout le Coca-Cola. Regardez le Sprite sur cette station-service. Lavage de cerveau subliminal.
They have to
24
speak
heures
at
sur
like
24,
twice
7
the
jours sur
speed
7.
in order to
Sprite,
fit
Sprite
all
sur
the
les toits.
English in.
Sprite, 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 Sprite sur 7 pompes. Sprite sur 7 pompes. Prends du Sprite. Frigo Coca-Cola, frigo Coca-Cola, frigo Pepsi. Pepsi
The thing about
Pepsi,
Japanese
Coca-Cola,
is like you can fit so much more information into like one sentence.
Si vous êtes exposé
So
à une
people
image
always
un
end up
nombre suffisant de
speaking
fois, vous pourriez
slower.
être inconsciemment poussé à l'acheter quand vous la rencontrez en vrai. Alors que vous pourriez voir des feuilles d'aluminium pour le
That is
fentanyl et des
French,
seringues
French.
à
They always
Portland,
speak that
Seattle
fast,
ou
those
LA.
fucking
Ici,
bastards.
vous voyez des big gulps.
Average
Donc,
French
nous avons
man
continué notre route
making
vers
that
Provo,
like pinching
Utah.
hand
Plus de
gesture while he
80% de la
yells at
population
you
est mormone. Et nous sommes
in
allés directement chez le concurrent de
French
Swig, Soda
because
Delicious,
like
pour voir si
you
plus une ville
bought
était
the
mormone,
wrong ticket
plus
to the
on y
Louvre or
buvait le
whatever.
soda. J'espère une file d'attente qui sort par la porte. Combien de ces mormons sifflent du soda? Je veux voir ces mormons. D'accord, regardez un peu toutes ces options disponibles.
I still think German sounds the funniest. Oh, there is Russian.
National Park, Southern Gentleman, твоя мама. Пожалуйста, Boy Scout, Баттербрю, Орион, вторая жена. Какие названия? Забавно.
What's the point of having Russian subtitles when all the Russian people that can watch YouTube are being bombed to shit in Ukraine right now?
О потреблении газировки здесь. Могу купить вам газировку без обязательств. Хочу знать, что заказывать.
I'm traumatized to the point when I hear Polish, I immediately think someone is cursing my family. Thanks, Valorant, never again. Wouldn't that be the same for like Russian and Portuguese as well?
Ничего.
Based on like Brazilians and Russians online.
Люблю Доктор Пеппер, но честно, с тех пор, как тут работаю, моя толерантность к вкусам
Притупилась
просто...
совсем?
Да.
Это обычное дело или что-то
The
вроде
Russian is
угощения?
messed up? I would assume so. So the Japanese is fucked up. I'm sure the German is very accurate though.
Zweimal am Tag. 88 Unzen.
Ja, sehr viel. Es ist buchstäblich die Welt
The
für
German
manche
just
Leute.
sounds like
Ich
normal
arbeite in einem Büro
German.
gleich hier drüben. Wir machen quasi zweimal
It's
am
the same
Tag
speed
dicht,
as the
damit jeder sich
English.
seine Dirty Soda holen kann.
Trinkt ihr Bier oder sowas?
Ich nicht.
Nein.
Also statt einer Zigarettenpause habt ihr eure Dirty Soda Pause?
So ziemlich, ja.
Sehr, sehr groß.
Ja.
Ja, warum denn?
Weil sie, ich weiß nicht, ich glaube, sie sehen es als eine Art Stressabbau.
Die Softdrink-Kultur ist riesig, Mann. Es gibt nichts Vergleichbares. Ich meine, der einzige Vergleich ist vielleicht die Kaffeekultur. Und selbst dann ist die Softdrink-Kultur viel anpassbarer.
Würdest du sagen, es gibt eine Softdrink-Sucht in Utah oder eine Epidemie?
Ja, würde ich.
Softdrinks sind riesig in Utah. Jeder mag Softdrinks. Jeder mag Swig, Sodalicious. Wirklich groß in Utah. Das ist die endgültige Antwort. Es ist gigantisch. Softdrinks sind in Utah nicht aufzuhalten.
Okay, er will uns hier
Okay.
Wie oft trinkst du Softdrinks?
Meine Güte, ich komme wirklich come here as often as I can.
Like 5 times a week.
5 times a week, boys.
Depends on how stressed I am.
Twice in a row now.
Every day.
Every day.
Every day, boys.
Yes.
I drink soda every day.
Every day.
Probably twice or 3 times.
Okay, Kona clap.
I drink soda probably daily.
Okay. Every day you come here?
Not here, but yeah, I probably drink a soda pop a day.
I drink, what, every day? I'm pretty much here.
But how much of this soda consumption was influenced by the Mormon faith?
So are you guys Mormon?
I am.
You can drink caffeine, but not hot drinks.
Depends how stressed I am, bro.
Well, like
Caffeine
hot
doesn't
drinks,
help.
you can have,
What
like,
about
hot
the
chocolate.
80 grams of sugar you're
Hot
getting?
coffee or hot tea?
Correct, yeah.
That's according to the words of wisdom? Is that what it is?
Got it. Right on the dot.
What's the Mormon to non-Mormon ratio out here?
A lot. I
Mostly
don't know.
That's right,
I
guys.
don't
You
know.
can't drink
It's
coffee or hot tea. You have to
I
drink
would
soda
say you need to check
instead.
demographic trends because it's different community to community.
Is that why soda's big out here?
Probably substitution for coffee.
So,
Okay.
about the AI voiceovers,
Yes.
Oh, you do? Are you Mormon?
No.
languages,
I wouldn't say it is for me. I
hard
think the soda is more the alternative for alcohol. out here.
difficulty
Interesting.
These are basically
rankings
cocktails
for
without the alcohol.
English
You do not drink
speakers.
coffee.
I'm kind of a bad Mormon. I've had
see.
coffee. I just don't. I think it
I'm a
tastes
bad
burnt.
Mormon.
Seemed as if
I've had
people drank
coffee.
soda to feel some stress
Here's
relief,
the table,
get that
guys.
sugar rush, and to feel caffeinated to keep pushing through the day.
I have a gift for our redheaded friend. Thank you. A tip for you. For both of you. Thank you guys. No, we really appreciate it. I know we're a bit of a nuisance, but thank you guys so much.
So, category 1, 500 to 600 hours. The amount of time it would take you to get to silver in Dota. And Afrikaans, Danish, Dutch, French, Norwegian, Portuguese, Category 2 is 750 hours German. I feel like German, you could just put it in Category 1, honestly. How different can it be? Like, do we really need to have, like, a difference between, like, 600 to 750? This can all just be one category, if you ask me. Category 3, 36 weeks, 900 hours, Indonesian, Malaysian, Swahili. Any Swahili speakers in chat? You underestimate German? I mean, I had German as, like, you know, you had, like, 3 choices of languages to learn in middle school, and I took German, so I don't think it's that different from, you know, French, Italian, Spanish. I can see why it's, like, slightly different, but, like, you could just do, like, one category, 575 to 750, I feel. And here we go, Category 4, Lithuanian, Macedonian, Icelandic, Laumer, Tagalog, Slovenian. Here's where the Russian and Polish come in. Polish being the combination of German and Russian right here. Where's the Mandarin Chinese? It's at the bottom, of course. Category 5. Arabic, Cantonese, Mandarin, Korean, Japanese with a star. Languages preceded by asterisks are usually more difficult for native English speakers to learn than other languages in the same category. They have Japanese in the hardest fucking category, but they literally had to create its own fucking category because it's too fucking difficult. That's Japanese. Japanese is literally the SSS rank of language difficulty for English speakers. Mandarin Chinese should have an asterisk too. It's fucking insane. The reason why it probably doesn't get the asterisk is because the grammar is probably easier than the Japanese because the order isn't fucked up like the Japanese order is, I assume. Is Luxembourgish somewhere on the list? Because it does require both German and French grammar. Bro, nobody cares about this fake country that it is like the size of a city, bro. That shit ain't real. No one's like, yes, let me learn this European language for this tiny city-state. Grammar makes sense. Mandarin's grammar is easy. The pronunciation is a fucking eldritch nightmare. The silly thing about Japanese is that Japanese also has, like, Chinese style intonation grammar shit. It's just that, like, even Japanese people don't really follow it that closely. And it's not as bad in Chinese in terms of, like, people won't understand what you're saying if you get the intonation wrong. Like, you can still get the intonation wrong a little bit, and people will be able to tell what you're talking about. But there are, like, weird-ass, stupid intonation rules. But it changes from, like, location to location in Japan as well. Like, there'll be, like, different Kansai-style intonation. It's not, like, a hard, fast rule. But, like, for the same word, like, hana. I guess there is no hana. Hana, hashi. I couldn't tell you whether I'm supposed to, like, make it go up or down depending on the word myself. I don't fucking know. Ugly metal leotard is so old school, like you took into account how the metal ill fits around the crotch. I mean, this is her official art style. This looks incredibly uncomfortable. I would never ask my dark elf waifu to wear this. I would just have her be naked for easier access. Out of the East Asian languages, Chinese, Korean, Japanese, Japanese feels the most approachable. You can actually distinguish where words start and end. Questionable. I think you might be underestimating how fucked up Japanese is. There's always, like, this period in which, like, early Japanese learners, like, think that they're getting it, and then actually they're not getting it. I've been learning Japanese speaking to native speakers for a while and I still don't know shit. The good thing about speaking Japanese is if you just want to communicate in Japanese, you only have to say like, Hai, iie, onegai shimasu, yoroshiku onegai shimasu. That's basically all you're expected to say in the first place. Most of Japanese society never requires you to have any proper conversations anyways. Also, Japanese know that Japanese is fucking impossible, so they don't expect you to be able to speak it. And if you can even speak like 3 or 4 words, they're like, "Oh, Nihongo ojouzu desu ne." Just speaking Aizuchi. 90% of Japanese conversational shit is just Aizuchi bullshit. People just being like, hai, hai, so desu ne, hai. If you watch Japanese TV, and I'm sure a lot of you have, you'll notice that female commentators on Japanese TV literally only say 3 different things. Sugoi! With that intonation. Sugoi! And kawaii! And those are the 3 things they're expected to say. They literally say nothing else. That's it. That is the role of females on TV in Japan. Like every Japanese TV show, they'll have like the light-hearted male announcer whose job is to ask the questions. They'll have the older like male specialist on the subject who will explain the shit. And then they'll have like one young female character, and her entire job is to be like, sugoi! Exactly like that. She has to say sugoi like at least 5 times per hour. It's especially funny when I watch this shit in Japan with my mother and the TV is on. And my mother is a Japanese woman who escaped Japan because she was too much of a feminist and it was driving her crazy. So watching like the bullshit role of female, it drives her fucking crazy every time. Even after like 60 years. It's pretty funny. She's just like, God damn it, they're doing it again. Change the channel. Kawaii! Sugoi! Kya! It's almost like a comedy morning show, but they were actually reporting on the news. Here's a pro tip. There isn't any real differentiation between the comedy shows in Japan and like proper news. Japanese news is awful. I don't know which is worse. Japanese news where it's like all the news programming is just like bullshit and they just lie to your face, or American news programming where they also lie to your face. And Fox News has been allowed to exist as quote-unquote entertainment for like 50 years now. They're both pretty bad. In the Nordics, you're supposed to just stay quiet. It's basically the same for Japan as well, but you're supposed to do the Aizuchi part. Hai, wakarimashita, hai. If you're an American, it's kind of hard to understand the level to which Japanese in-kara, bocchi character people, the degree to which they can't fucking say anything. Like, they're incapable of speaking. The Bocchi the Rock, pink-haired anime girl is not an exaggeration to how little these people can speak. Especially females. Females in Japan can definitely get by without actually saying anything for their entire life. So there are definitely Japanese females who can't even hold like a 3-word conversation with somebody. It's pretty funny. They're just fins, yes. Baal, I suck at art. Where would I start for learning something simple like manga style? Are these learn manga books any good? I had a learn manga book, and in the advice on the first page, they were like, don't try and draw manga if you want to get good at manga. The general advice you'll often see is try and draw from, like, photos of, like, actual people. Because manga is it's like a higher level thing. It's like you go from learning how to draw a proper skull shape, right? And then you're like, what if I took a proper skull shape and made it all cutesy wootsy? So that instead of like actually having the eyes at 1/2 of the whole shape, now you're like, but what if I had my eyes at like the 1/3? And like anything, breaking the rules, you need to understand the rules before you can break them. So it's easier if you go immediately to anime, you don't really understand what you're fucking up for stylization reasons. So it's way easier to get to like horrible monstrosities if you don't understand how to properly draw a skull. If you want to do raw manga, study Albrecht Dürer. Yeah, actually that's not that bad advice. I heard it's also good if you can write well, good handwriting, maybe. I mean, that comes with like pen control, I guess. That might be part of it. I'm not sure. Honestly, you should do all of the same things at the same time. There's gonna be like a lot of different people that be like, I think it comes into 3 camps. Camp 1 is like, draw fucking cubes. You have to learn perspective. Draw cubes. Draw shit cubes and a million cubes in perspective. Number 2 is do Death Sun. Do like studies. Do like still lives and draw people like from photos. And number 3 is just draw anime. If you want to draw anime, just draw what you want to draw. Just straight up copy the artist you like. And I think you should do all 3 of them because you're gonna get bored of drawing cubes pretty fucking quickly, trust me. So if you're just like, I'm gonna have to learn perspective completely and I'm gonna draw a million cubes before I draw what I want to draw, you're gonna fucking stop drawing. Same thing for, you know, doing still lifes and shit. If you don't give a fuck about drawing flowers on a table, you're gonna get bored of this pretty quickly. But if you only do the thing you want to draw, you won't understand the fundies, which are these. So the answer is you should rotate. This is probably my suggestion because the fundies do fucking help. It will be easier to draw your anime if you understand why your anime looks like that, and that comes from understanding objects in space and understanding like anatomy and like you know, how stuff looks and stuff like that. But if you start being like, I don't want to draw 10 million more boxes, fuck this, just draw more anime, and then you can go back. Because when you're drawing anime, you'll be like, man, my anime drawing kind of looks like shit. I don't know why. And the answer is because you haven't done enough boxes, so you'll go back and forth between the two. That's my advice. Be strict about the 50% rule, meaning that you draw for fun 50% of the time. That's right. For every box you draw, make sure you draw 3 hentai comics about big dick shotas getting milked by their stepmother. This will keep you motivated and strong. Never forget why you're here. I think a crucial aspect is that drawing for fun isn't fun if you're complete dog shit and don't know what to do. Yeah, so it's also hard if your eye is relatively good because you'll be able to tell that you're dog shit. The most painful part about drawing is that people who are talented at drawing will be able to know that their drawing looks like shit because their eye will be good enough to recognize it's shit, but then they won't know how to fix it. And then that situation in which you can tell your stuff looks like shit is gonna last for like 10 years. Like every few weeks or every few months you'll look at your old drawing and be like, how was I okay with this drawing? This looks like absolute trash. And I didn't stop feeling that way about my old drawings until, I don't know, like 3 or 4 years ago. Now I can look at my old drawings and be like, oh, I see what I was doing at that time. That looks okay. And that's when you know that you've kind of made it. Is that you'll look at like your old shit and be like, oh, this isn't painful to look at. This is good enough. But it takes like, you know, a solid 18 years to get there. Holy fuck, it's painful. That actually scares me a bit. There's a lot of art that I like that I know isn't great technically, but my eye just doesn't care. That's different. That's other people's art. If you feel that way about your own art and you just start drawing, that means your eye is shitty. But even other people's, if it's other people's art, you might be seeing like, quote unquote, the soul or whatever. If it's your own art and you just start drawing and you're like, oh, because like, you obviously have like something that you want to express. Like, you read One Punch Man, you're going to be like, oh, I'm going to be the next Murata. Any day now. And then you're going to draw your stuff, you know, looking at an image of One Punch Man, and you'll be like, oh, this looks pretty good. And then like 2 weeks later, you'll be like, oh god, it looks like awful fucking trash. Why did I think that it looked good? What is wrong with me? That's like the cycle right there. Literally every artist, when they're starting out, goes to that cycle of being like, heh, I can draw this image that looks exactly like whatever, you know, extremely famous artist. I'm a fucking genius. And then like 5 days later you look at it again, you're like, oh fuck, what the fuck? What was I thinking? Yeah, Dunning-Kruger is real. I've reached the point where it's kind of the opposite for me, is that I'll be like grinding a piece for super long, and then I'll be like, oh, I have to keep on going, and then I'll look at it like the next day, I'm like, no, wait, this is fine. I'm just polishing a turd. No one's gonna care if a little part of it is incorrect. I just need to move on to the next picture. Perfectionism needs to stop. It's like the opposite of Dunning-Kruger, where you think like it's shit, but it's like it's actually good enough. Unfortunately, some people don't grow out of that and still think their shit doodle drawings are enough improvement. Yeah, those people don't improve. That means their eye can't recognize what is wrong with their drawing. So they're fucking hopeless, unfortunately. If you can't recognize that something is wrong, even if you can't tell what's wrong, you should be able to look at your picture versus whatever picture you were copying or inspired by and be like, oh fuck, I fucked up somehow. What's wrong here? If you look at it and you're like, ah, everything's fine, then that means you can't tell what's going on. If they just want to do it for enjoyment, that's probably fine, I guess. That's like saying that the fact that I jack off every day is fine because I'm just doing it for enjoyment. But if everybody was just jacking off like me every day, then the human race would go extinct because nobody would have babies. Can't give everyone a free pass, or else we would only have shit art. You are special, you know, special. My special education teacher told me I was the most special of all the educated kids. Oh, I have to take a piss. Be right back. Ah! 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 I like how the first two materials on CSP's manga materials are the mosaics. Fuck, I need to center this. That brings up the big question. Are you a black bars guy or a mosaics guy? Because I've always been a black bars guy. I've always been partial to the bars. I also actually like it when the cock is like fully censored, so it's only just like a white. Like I kind of like it when it's just like an extremely abstract shape. So instead of like drawing anything, they're just like this. They're like this. It's just like fully censored, and then you're like, do, 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 do. And the woman looks at it and she's like, she's like, yeah! What is this? Full whiteout is weird. I kind of like it. It shows how my my cock is just burning with white energy. It's like it's a star going supernova. It's so powerful you can't even see it with your bare eyes. It's like looking directly at the sun. The penis must be an object of fear. Fear and awe. It's not cute, it's terrifying. Ankelman does the censorship lines best because they're thin and he says they're easy to censor when fans do it. Yes, but I don't give a fuck about Ankelman once he started only creating content about effeminate shotas with big dicks and Astolfo. He realized there was a untapped market for hot femboys with big cocks fucking NTR servants, but I'm not a big dick femboy, so I can't self-insert as Astolfo, so I'm out. No interest in Astolfo content, I'm sorry. I can only self-insert as ugly goblin bastards. Ugly bastards, faceless muscular men, vaguely defined black men, specifically defined black men, i.e. the transfer student, what else? Orcs, minotaurs, tentacles, Gyaruo chads. Everything that isn't like an effeminate, cute shota or fuckboy, I can self-insert as, but I don't think I can see myself as Astolfo, so that registers to me as being cucked, so I'm not interested in it now. Baal is a muscular black man, confirmed. I am pretty muscular at this point. By Japanese standards, I'd definitely be in the NTR Gyaruo ugly bastard content. I'm not really fat enough to be an ugly bastard now. In fact, you look at the ugly bastard body type in hentai, and you don't really think twice about it if you're in America, for example. But there's actually very few guys that are that fat as ugly bastards in Japan. It's pretty difficult to get the ugly bastard weight class if you're living in Japan and eating Japanese food, just because the portions are much more healthier. So there's actually very few ugly bastard body types in Japan. Especially if you go to like Tokyo. If you see like a fat guy in Tokyo, you're like, hey look, it's a fat guy. That's interesting. I haven't seen a fat guy in so long. Whereas in America, you'll be like, look, it's a skinny person. Holy shit, I haven't seen a skinny person in 5 years. It's like the duality of man here. Bottom of her crotch looks a bit off. The center line is here. Meh, I think it's okay. I need to adjust the shadows a little bit. The shadow is incorrect from here. There's this like arc shape here that goes like this. Then it's gonna be basically black all the way down, I think. The center line, I think it's like around here. The gap between her thighs, I mean, there is no thigh gap. What gap? There is no gap. This is all meat. You wouldn't be able to see a thigh gap from this angle. If you zoom in, what are you talking about? There's no fucking thigh gap. It looks like a gap. Is this where I have to start shooting people? Do we have like fucking amateur artists in chat telling me that my picture looks wrong because they can't see the finished version? What the fuck are you even talking about? It's a human thigh seen from the side. You're seeing one side of the leg. Here's leg one. Here's the pelvis. Here is the other leg and its ass cheek and this. And you are seeing this area of the leg. Horizontal line at the bottom of her crotch gives me that impression. That is a, are you talking about this line here? That's a fucking muscle tendon. I can't remember what it was called. The bottom of her armor thing. Like this? I don't even know what the fuck you're talking about. The armor shape should be like this and then this. This seems about right. For pelvic armor, I mean, it's gonna curve inward. Are you saying that she should have a exposed vagina? The pelvic armor shape is still slightly off, I'll give you that. Like... like that. Now it's gone. I shouldn't listen to chat. Chat doesn't fucking know what they're doing. This is literally like every single Twitch streamer where they're like, streamer, please, don't you understand? You should be ganking more. I happen to be a Bronze 3 League streamer myself. I happen to be an expert on this topic. What do you mean you're in the Master Division? I've been playing League for over 1,000 hours myself. Did you all seriously not see it, LOL? Are you saying that because you saw this horizontal line here, you weren't able to visualize that this was part of a bikini armor that goes like this and has to curl? And would have like a separate piece of metal to properly cover the vagina. You know that you have to do that? 1,000 hours are rookie numbers. Yes. Why am I bad at drawing? I've only been spending 10,000 hours of my life playing League. Show the OG design. Here. She doesn't really have any horizontal line. This is actually just a shadow for the pussy. But I was planning to darken that area anyway, so it didn't really matter. I'm kind of confused. My eye is bit as a layman. The picture isn't finished. We're still working out the shapes. This is a little too squared itself, actually. Where is that Overlord sheet from? I'm guessing that it was one of the pre-order bonuses. I didn't pre-order Unicorn Overlord, but they gave you like an art book for Dragon's Crown, and I think they gave the same thing for Unicorn Overlord. I haven't been able to find it online, except for that like horrible photo right there. But I assume people who pre-ordered it got it. Maybe someone scanned it on eHentai if I look on eHentai. Unicorn Overlord. Non-H. Yeah, this is it. Found it. Unicorn Overlord. Original design works. Digital. God bless eHentai. If you forgot to pre-order, I swear, I thought that your friend male was a sexy tomboy female. He even has the Aubrey hairstyle that I enjoy. And fucking eyelashes. Unfortunately, this is not a female where if you take off his armor, it's actually a her and there's big boobies underneath. It is a man. It is a man. No. How can that be true? But I want the homo sex with female. Just give him a fang and he's a female? Yeah. Literally the same face as NPC female girl Chloe. Look, this is like peak draw a man, call it a... or draw a girl, call it a man energy right here. I was just watching an anime where the red hair guy was a chick. Yes. You literally just need to have one episode in which he's taking a bath and he takes off his breastplate and shows big titties. And no one would be like, no, that looks like a man. That does not look like a man. Can you show us more IRL tomboy references? I don't know if I had any. By tomboy, you guys just mean, like, girl with short hair, so... Oh, actually, I was drawing Pinterest images recently. Let's see if they will show me the pic that I was drawing the other day. I have to go to my history. No, can't find it. Too bad. It's gone. I was doing a bunch of short poses, drawings, urban fashion stuff. Oh, here's one that I drew recently. This is pretty good tomboy energy right here. Although, it's more of just a sporty girl. I've been practicing inking, high-speed inking, by drawing Pinterest references quickly. So that's Nike girl. Then I'm like, how quickly can I draw that? 42 minutes. And I'm trying to see which pens are the fastest. This was the tomboy one that I thought was good. Any girl that has slightly short hair and then a baseball cap immediately looks like a tomboy. But I can't find the image now. I guess you can probably turn most references into tomboy. Literally, all you need to do to make a tomboy is just give them slightly short hair and people are like, look, it's a tomboy. Sir, I believe that is a tomboy, sir. Actual honest God studies? Yeah, but it's not fast enough. That's the problem. I need to be able to draw a full body person sketch in about like 30 minutes, I feel. The lines aren't clean enough. Like, I should be able to get the lines I want on the first shot. And I need a pen in which I can consistently feel like I'm getting the lines I want on my first try. Instead of like redrawing shit. I'm still having to do a little bit of redrawing. Do you think if you get a serialized manga that'll still be your usual themes? I have several serialized manga ideas. I don't plan on doing an entire manga about elves not having sex. I want to do a dwarf manga. I feel like Japan doesn't have enough dwarf mangas. Only I am manly enough to produce dwarf manga. There was a Japanese isekai dwarf manga, and it was just like a short Japanese guy who worked at a Japanese, like, local factory who got sent to Japan, and it was all like, oh, Japanese are so amazing, we're just like dwarfs because we're short and we're good at making things. And I was just like, fuck this. He didn't even have a beard. You fucking cowards. Get this fucking isekai trash out of my dwarf category. That ain't a dwarf. Fucking hate isekai at this point. Isekai started off like a fun, refreshing break from like all the serious high fantasy shit we had. And now it's just like they've already done. All the people who had any interesting parodies to make are fucking gone. And it's just, you know, completely talentless hacks. I want to make fantasy, but I can't because so much of it is just worthless shit thanks to isekai just corrupting the whole watering hole. It sucks. Konosuba? Konosuba is also from the earlier generation. Konosuba, Mushoku Tensei, Overlord, all of that shit is from an earlier generation of like pre-isekai. Like the first or one or two waves of isekai. We're in like wave 6 or so right now, and it fucking sucks. Free Rent is more like classical fantasy. Yeah. At peak with Isekai Yarisa, there's a bunch of stuff that basically still hasn't been properly novelized and certainly hasn't been animated that I think is really good. In general, the better Isekai content is, the less attention it gets, because the type of people who read Isekai at this point are like the lowest common denominator dumbasses. Isekai being popular because it's the idea of teleporting to a fantasy world. It originally became popular because there was a lot of Japanese people who have no religion and they also have no hope in their life. So the only situation in which they could imagine winning was if they got a reset and then they were reborn with, you know, special superpowers. Because the concept of, like, I don't know, one day a girl showing up and falling in love with them seemed too impossible. So they're like, the only way in which I would ever succeed is if I was fucking reincarnated in my MMORPG character's body and I was fucking invincible. I'm so hopeless. That's why. Some dark shit, I tell you. Has anyone seen Red 12 Kingdoms? It seems kind of interesting. It was on NHK back in the day, so I watched a little bit of it. But at its core, it's shoujo instead of shonen, so I'm not that interested in anything that's shoujo. The problem with Raylenor's armor is it's kind of like black on black, which is fine in color, but it doesn't work as well in black and white. So I'm trying to figure out what I want to do. Normally I would put more black on this, but that might be too dark. Maybe I leave it white, I'm not sure yet. Because if I'm going by like the same grayscale for this shit, maybe the silver armor is like you keep it white, but this would be gray, this would be gray, this would be gray, this would be gray. It's like too much gray. I think this might already be too much gray. I don't think I can add any more gray. I think we just keep it white, honestly, I'm thinking. Why not grab Raylenor's picture and desaturate it in CSP? See, that's amateur hour bullshit, my friend. You don't understand. Character design for color media and character design for black and white media is inherently incompatible. In order to have a good balance of blacks, grays, and whites for a manga, you need to consider different things than the color balance for color something like artwork for a video game. They're two different things. And if you try and treat them as the same thing, you're going to get a image that doesn't have like the right balance of black and white color, even if it has the right balance of color in, you know, actual color. They're two different things. So when people are drawing backgrounds for manga and they desaturate it, they're desaturating it all the way down to just the hard blacks and then whites when they draw backgrounds for like manga and shit. And then they add grays to that on top. So that's basically what I'm already doing right now. You basically just figure out what is the absolute darkest areas and then go from there. You have a female character getting embarrassed or something and they change her reaction to something brazen abrasive. Do they go, but baka! How could you look at my naked body? You're such a pervert, kya! And then the English translation is, you have sexually assaulted me, you disgusting male chauvinist pig. I will be sending you a cease and desist notice from my lawyer tomorrow. Sexual assault can never be condoned. Your ecchi behavior is completely illegal and I am canceling you. Honestly, based and red-pilled by the localizers. I don't actually know how to do armor shading. Actually, that looks fine. Don't the perverts tend to get beaten up by the embarrassed chick? Yes. It doesn't matter how perverted you are, as long as she hits you with a 2-ton hammer every single time she catches you doing perverted things and having a boner. It's all based and funny. Hashtag Sayabario City Hunter. Every time Yo gets hammered for City Hunter 2 is 4 minutes long. It's okay, guys. You can try and kiss woman as long as the girl you truly love is gonna beat the shit out of you with a hammer. We're only like 1/3 of the way through, by the way. Man literally getting bludgeoned to death by the woman he loves. It's Kino every time. Are they even dating? It doesn't really count as dating. The tsukomi is a form of sexual conduct. They're basically married at this point. She has to stop the hammer. Oh, they both hammer him. I like how sometimes it's 10 tons and sometimes it's 100 tons. '80s repeat society. We're still halfway through. He's still getting hammered. I assume he got hammered like 5 times per episode. This show was perfect. This was the Japanese response to like Dirty Harry. They were like, what if we just had the guy be a pervert and he gets hammered every time he tries and grabs a girl's boobs? Then you have shit like Machiko Sensei, LOL. That was before City Hunter, though. Go Nagai was like the pioneer of, I'm gonna commit sexual assault, but it's gonna be funny. You know that kids were actually like imitating his manga back in the day, and that they were like peeling women's skirts because he was writing a manga for kids in which he invented the Scato Mekuri, which is like pulling up women's skirts, and kids were fucking doing that in schools. This is like the 70s, of course. So it would be like if we released like GTA today, and like kids on TikTok were like, yo, this Finn, awesome, for real, let's go murder people. And they actually had to like tell kids in warnings to not murder people. It was a different time. I remember that kid's manga was Devilman. The one in which they were getting kids to peel skirts wasn't Devilman. Devilman wasn't supposed to be a kid's manga, even though I'm sure kids read it. It was called Harenchi Gakuen. Harenchi meaning like lewd or perverted. What happens if I... actually go gray on the armor? Let's see. If I was more knowledgeable about this shit, it might not. It might be okay. Maybe we just go like this. I'm not sure yet. The good thing about digital is you can do this and it's perfectly fine. Maybe we just go like this. You can just undo it if you don't like it. I could do this and then like add white highlights. This shit isn't good practice for manga because you would never have this kind of like a super time-consuming outfit in manga when you have to draw so many panels. This is like a video game only thing. I mean, this might be okay, I guess. It got serialized twice after its first run in the 90s, then the 2000s. Japan really do be like, remember the sexual assault manga that was super popular? We should bring it back in the 90s, LMAO. My favorite story about manga being like, parents being like, we don't want our kids to be reading manga, is when the PTA was trying to ban Bobobo, and they were like, this will make our children stupid. And everyone was like, yeah, seems about right. I agree. It will in fact make our children stupid. This is absurd. Alright, this is fine. I guess I'll do this. Bobo is stupid in a funny way. It's stupid in like a surreal way, to be honest. If you read Bobo for too long, not only does it stop being funny, you start to feel like you're going insane or something. Kind of mind-boggling. It's complete nonsense. You know, back in the day, most Japanese comedy manga was like nonsense like that, you know? Especially like the 70s and stuff. It was just a lot of nonsense manga where the entire joke was like somebody was saying something that made 0 sense and people were like, haha, this is so funny. But it wasn't funny, it was just nonsense. This led to the famous ending of Harenchi Gakuen, symbol of freedom and rejection of the hypocrisy, where all students and teachers, while defending their freedom of expression, are killed by the PTA and other parental forces. This was the ironic answer that Nagai gave to the PTA. Go Nagai, don't end your series with every single character being murdered challenge. Difficulty impossible, apparently. Guys, can you even tell that I'm constantly changing my pens, honestly? I've been like almost meaninglessly obsessed with the various pens and like lines and shit I've been using recently. And I feel like maybe I shouldn't be, and maybe it's not very obvious in the first place and people can't really tell the difference. That looks wrong. I'm seeing more line weight here. I mean, I do have more line weight, but... I honestly can't tell most of the time. Maybe I should just draw with one pen and not worry too much. Is it good to use many different brushes or just have a few brushes to do most of the things you want to do? So this is a thing I've been having problems with my entire art career. Like, I have just perpetual indecisiveness about what I want to do with my brushes. The most common advice you see regarding manga in terms of brushes is you'll often be told to at least use different brushes for the background versus the characters so that the characters will pop more. But this really varies from author to author, and a lot of authors are just like, I just draw everything with one pen. And then there's other authors who will be like, I use like 15 different pens, including like sticks and stuff to get specific, you know. The thing is that like the most popular pens, like G pen stuff, they can draw like a whole variety of like different thicknesses of lines. Like this. If you look at the G pen, it goes all the way from like here to like here. So there's like an almost infinite amount of like different kinds of flickiness you can add to it. And some people like that, other people don't. I don't know. I've been trying to use the G pen for the outside lines of characters and go like this. Create like these darker corners and then sort of connect them with the thinner parts. This is like the traditional way in which you're supposed to do manga inking since analog times. But then I will frequently be like, no, I don't like that. So then I have a bunch of other pens here as well. And I have like specific pens when I want to draw like long lines or like curved lines and stuff like that. I like this pen that I'm using called a Kashi pen. It's a downloadable pen because it's really easy to get these like dots at the end. So it kind of looks like a milli pen if you're using analog. And there's sometimes when I want that effect. I don't know, man. I also find it easier to draw. But then like I'll draw a picture and then like the next day I'm like, no, this isn't what I want. And then like the other day after that I'll be like, no, this is what I want. And I can't fucking make up my mind. Oh. I think what I need to use is whatever I can draw fastest with that isn't going to make me want to kill myself and redraw all my lines again and again. Can you show the settings for the Kashi pen? You can download it, by the way, or you have to download it. This is a pen where it's pen pressure, or it has velocity on at 50 and random on at 55. And then the pen pressure settings, it creates this S-curve. And it has a relatively blurry tip, if you look at it. So if I zoom in, it creates lines like this. But I sometimes want to draw a smooth line, so I created a version in which I don't have that kind of randomness, so it's just like completely smooth. But honestly, if you're zoomed out, you can't really tell which one I'm using. And then if you download the Kashi pen, it comes with an even more grainier version like this. Look at that. So sometimes I use that when I want like super grainy artwork, but I don't know, man. I can't give you any answers on line art at this point. I have so much like indecisiveness regarding my line art and what I want to do with it, and I keep on changing my mind regarding it like every single day, and I can't fucking decide. Oh! I can't type that name. Come on, brother. Figure it out, you stupid cucks. I think it will show up if you just Kashi pen. Kashi pen kurista. The number is 1708763. It has fucking 400,000 downloads. It's free. 1708763. Everybody likes it. Oh. All right, guys. I'm gonna end the stream here. Oh. See you around, boys. Good night. Have a nice night.